In today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through how we turned 23K into 198,000. Let's dive right in. There's a lot of BS like real estate influencers or coaches out there that will talk to you about how to do deals, trying to get you to use affiliate links and things of that nature that aren't actually doing deals. So I figured I would show you the inner workings of one of my partnerships. I'm going to show you inside of our Simply CRM. I'm going to walk you through what we did to get these results, as well as show you a little bit of our track record. Now, before I do that, if you get value out of these videos, all I'm going to ask is that you like the video. That helps us out here on YouTube. As always, if you have any questions at all, I personally respond to all of the comments on these videos. So if there's something I can help you with, just drop it down below and I'll get back to you. For those of you guys that are more like readers than visual learners, I turned this whole thing into a step-by-step PDF guide that I'll throw in the comments on this video that you're free to download and save if you want. I'm not even going to put it behind like an opt-in wall or anything, just free value from me to you. So hopping into Simply here, first thing I'm going to show you is our sold deals. So this partnership has done right at 27 deals. We started this one back in probably May of 2022 because it typically takes us right at like 45 to 60 days to get some momentum, properties under contract, things of that nature. Now, one thing to note with Simply, these are sold projects that are those 27. So if I look here in inventory, we have another 4 that we're currently in process with. And that doesn't count if I hop over here into active leads and scroll over the 10 that we have under contract. Now I'm going to blur the seller's name, phone number, and address because I don't know who's going to see this. And maybe some of y'all are creeps. So what does that have us at? 31, 41 projects going in like a year and a half. Not upset about that at all. So looking at this partnership, direct mail, mail, mail. I'm not going to say mail that many times because that'll get annoying. Direct mail, right? Direct mail is our most consistent source of leads and deals. Believe it or not, what we invent with that works well, hence why we use it. So, there's kind of proof in the pudding of what I'm talking to you guys about. Now, the $198,000 was not all of these deals. I'm walking you through just one particular strategy that we've used in this partnership that I'm going to show you how to replicate right now so you can do it in your own market. Now, I'm going to kind of briefly highlight the tools, and then I'm going to walk you through how to actually do it. So if you're familiar with my channel at all, we're getting data from PropStream. I'll show you what data and how here in a minute. We're using Investor Carrot template websites. I think they're like $69 at the time of shooting this. They're not the prettiest things, but they convert really well. I've been an Investor Carrot user since like 2017, and I've had thousands of leads come through my Carrot site at this point. Obviously, as I mentioned, we are using Ballpoint Marketing for all of our direct mail. Because I own them, it'd be dumb for me to not use my own company. And then Call Porter takes all of the inbound calls that we have. So they're handling all of the front end intake, screening for like motivation, equity, condition, and booking to appointments. So our partners or staff can just show up, make the offers, follow up, work the leads, that kind of a thing. Works really, really well if you have a day job or, you don't just want to be chained to your phone 24/7. Full disclosure, I own that company as well. Let me walk you through what lists we pulled, what mail we used, so you can copy it. I'm going to pick a random market and show you how I would set this up. We call this the lazy investor approach because it's literally kind of set it up and forget it for 6 to 7 months, which if you're like me, awesome. I like not having to get lost on the details and stuff like this. I'd rather operate as an investor. So let's say for the sake of this video that you're in Louisville. So we're going to start out here in, helps if I spell Louisville appropriately. Let's say we're in Louisville, Kentucky. So with PropStream, you're going to throw your market location in the top. Now I'm going to show you the only list that you need to pull out of PropStream. This literally encompasses like 99% of what you'd want to pull. So we're going to set the basics of what assets we want, and then we're going to go after the different motivations. So in property characteristics, this is where you pick what you want. So if you want just houses, pick that. Spoiler alert, if you're struggling in one asset class, maybe try some of the others like land or multifamily, etc. But typically when I'm pulling this list, I do 1 through 4 units. Depends on the market, but we've had really, really good luck flipping condos. Younger buyers tend to love them, and the HOA covers a lot of stuff. So, I might throw those in as well. Now, under ownership info on this list, who owns the property, we focused on individuals and trusts. I've talked about that in other videos. And then when it comes to equity, I always do 35 to 100%. That means the person has enough equity that they can afford to sell to me at a discount. Now, remember what I'm walking you through. We turned 23,000 into 198 grand. I could totally sell this as a freaking course, and I'm just giving it to you guys. So, tell your friends, like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't. So we've got 1 to 4 units, individuals and trusts, 35 to 100% equity. In this market, that's 180,000 properties. You probably don't have that kind of a marketing budget. I know I don't for one single metro. So we're going to narrow it down. And we're going to do that by blending several lists together. So the first one we're going to do is expired MLS. Super simple. We're going to do under MLS status, failed. Now people will be like, well, within how long? Like, do I put a cap on it or a dollar amount? Like, no, I don't get that specific with it. So we can see that narrows it down to 4,859 records. This alone is one of my favorite lists because if they hit me with I'll just list it on the MLS. Well, how did that work out for you last time? I know it didn't, right? All we would do is take this, click add to list, create a new one, and I would call this Lazy Investor Louisville, right? Now, one thing to note, this list is going to be really large because I'm targeting an entire freaking city. You're probably targeting like a couple zip codes or a city that's not like 1 million plus people, right? So the first one is going to be expired MLS. Literally all we're going to do is click this drop down again, and where it has MLS status of failed, we're just going to hit the X. That removes that particular thing. We're going to then go to lien and bankruptcy information. And we're not going to mess with any of this. We're just going to do a lien amount equal to about 1% of the property value. So if the average home in Louisville is say $200K, I'm going to do a minimum lien amount of $2,000. There's $5K of those. Now what I would do is take that and I would add it to the same list, that Louisville Lazy Investor sequence. Some folks are like, well, do I keep it separate? Me personally, as I've shown you in other videos, I just blend it into one master list that I call like the prop stream niches. Now we're going to go back in here into filter, and all we're going to do is cut out that lien amount. Notice I'm not having to rebuild these every time. It's just clicking that 1X. Super simple. Next, I'm going to go in here into ownership information, and I'm going to do interfamily transfers. See, there's 2,000 of those. Somebody gifted a property to a family member, right? One spouse transferred off and moved it to the other. Kids inherited it. Love this list. So same thing. I'm going to click this. I'm going to add it to that existing list that we would have created called Louisville Lazy Investor. Click save. That simple. Now we're going to go back here to filter. We're going to click the X again to wipe that out. And we're going to go back into ownership info, and you can do pre-probate, include that. There's 1,250 of those. Same thing. Add to list, that existing one. Hop back up here to filter and cut out deceased. The next one we're going to do is bankruptcy. So we're going to go in here, back into the lien tab, and we're going to hop into quick targets, and I'm going to do active or dismissed bankruptcy. Again, some of you guys die in the weeds of like, well, if it was dismissed, like, don't worry about it. Okay. Like active and dismissed, there's 2,110 of those. I'm going to take that whole list. I'm going to go and add it to that lazy investor list that's existing, right? So Click this select all, click add to list. One thing to note while we're walking through this, because we would be over PropStream's like basic plan. PropStream's like starter plan is $99 a month, gets you 10,000 records. They have other plans that are like $299 up to $599 that give you much larger save counts. PropStream ends up being like a cent a record. It's dirt cheap. So I'm going to hop back in here into filter now that we've saved that list, and I'm going to get rid of the bankruptcies. Now, you can try divorce. In my experience, they just don't really seem to have this data anymore. The final one we're going to add in here is pretty straightforward. So this is going to be absentee owners. They own the house, but they don't live in it. Now, what we're going to do, though, is we're only going to do people who own 3 or fewer. That takes this list from 30,000 down to 16,000. So cuts out folks that own, tons and tons of assets. So what we would do is we would take this file, click add to list, and then add it to that lazy investor Louisville list that we started, and click save. So that's what we're doing on the list pulling side. Now let's show you what we're doing on the direct mail side. So here we are on ballpointmarketing.com. We're going to go over to products. And the lazy investor sequence, literally, we just made a product for it for you guys. So if you click on this, here's how this works. So we start with an envelope. In my experience, the letters have the highest response rate. They're also just the most expensive. The following months, we then throw them on a sequence. So that is one of our postcard sequences. So you can pick from Americana, or you can pick from the comic card style. We've had great luck with both. Comic style we came up with a couple years back. Just doesn't look like anything else that is showing up in my mailbox. Or you can do Americana, which is our more recent one. Proud to be American, deal with it. Now, the cool thing with these when you throw them on the sequence is you do get a 20% discount. So that's pretty sexy. So literally what you would do is go into PropStream. You would take that list that you've created. It would be under your My Properties. I'll select just a random one here, for example. You can see we practice what we preach. This is one of those 3 or less absentee lists I just talked about. You would simply check all of that, click export, 6,500 records, right? So if this was my total, lazy investor list that I just built, I would come over to Ballpoint and I would say I've got 6,524 of those. Handwriting style, I always do cursive. We haven't noticed more or less responses one way or the other. It just takes our machines longer to do the printed pieces, so we have to charge more for them. Envelope, pick a style that you like. Me personally, if I'm picking, I really like the floral one and this one, but pick whichever one you want. So I would say floral, and then which postcard sequence you want. So I would probably go floral to Americana, and I would say, give me my 6524. Give me my 6524, right? And subscribe and save, add to cart, check out, upload your list. That straightforward. Now, one thing to note is on every single piece of mail, we have our carrot site printed. That way it's all branded. People want to know, are you a good person or not? Do you do what you say you're going to do before they sell you one of the largest things that they own? That's something that we teach pretty heavily in a more in-depth way inside CCF, our mastermind community. That's why we recommend the carrot site. So go branded. You don't have to, but I highly, highly recommend it just with kind of where the market's at. Inside Resimply, we simply set up a call flow. We pull a new number that goes on all of that mail that then forwards to our call porter phone number. I just showed you for free how we literally almost 10x'd our return on investment through practicing what you see me preach on this channel. I don't know about you, but I'm not getting 10x returns in the stock market. It sure isn't happening right now in crypto or NFTs. Someone's likely going to sell you the dream that they can do it for you in AI, though, very shortly. You can watch these videos I put out all day long and wonder what if? Or you can just copy it. Literally, that's why I put these out. My goal is to be the resource that I was looking for when I just started out. It's funny. People are like, oh, you're just giving away all the secrets. Well, like, I know most of my competitors aren't going to do it anyway, so it doesn't hurt me to share. I know this one was a little bit longer. I even thought about splitting up like the list polling section versus the rest of this, but I wanted this to literally be a masterclass. If you can't devote 20 minutes of your time to learning how to make 198K, you're probably not going to succeed anyway. Thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me. My name is Ryan Dossey. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. We'll talk to you guys next time.